Cheers to adulting.
Hi, everybody.
What's up?
Hi. Another obnoxious ways to say hello.
I'm Ashley Barajas.
And I am Abby Rosemarin.
And this is
Cheers to adulting. Ding.
You think we've done that a few times or
Maybe,
what have you?
over the last couple of years or something like that. You know?
Episode 26.
26, man.
Yeah.
We've done this almost 30 times.
Almost.
Almost. We could round up to 30 now. What's up?
We could. We are becoming wizened in age.
Exactly. Age and experience, everybody.
Yeah. Got plenty of it.
Right? We are podcast sluts.
Up our ass.
Hey, I'm not here to podcast shame.
In our consenting buttholes.
We've got to make sure the buttholes consent.
Yeah. And all the other holes.
Exactly. Continuous enthusiastic consent for every hole, which is something everybody should live by.
Today's episode is brought to you by Trader Jose's Bellinis.
Yes. Both the mango and the peach.
Yeah. That was pretty much last two episodes, and that's going to be the next two episodes.
You know what? I remember when we first started out, we were like, we're going to make them thematically based. We're going to make these like crazy ass, like super, super complicated drinks. And by episode 10, we're like, fuck you guys, it's a gin and tonic. Have fun. So, you know what? But that's okay.
Maybe in 2 episodes, we'll go back to trying.
There we go.
We try every few episodes.
Exactly. Every once in a while, we're like, no, this is thematically based, guys. Like, this works out.
I'd say the fanciest one that we ever did was the slow gin fizz.
Oh, yes.
Which I heard referenced in a film recently. Or it was a show. Probably a show. And I was like, people actually order that?
Right?
That's like complicated.
That is very complicated.
It's it was all a slew.
I remember it was just like all the compliment.
Alcohols.
Yeah, like
yeah,
it was
a
everything.
smorgasbord.
I feel like those are the ones that people do at a bartender to like trip a bartender up. Mm-hmm. Like, can you make me a slow, comfortable screw up against the wall? Like, it's like, buddy, you were on Google, weren't you?
you were going it. I'm also realizing that I'm really too sober for the beginning of this episode.
Girl, chug that Bellini, because I am a Bellini and a half in, and I am not.
I would have been way more intoxicated if it wouldn't have been for Fizzle, who's obnoxiously on my lap right now.
And was obnoxiously on our table while we were making lunch, and decided to freak the fuck out while we were smacking that chicken, if you know what I mean.
And by that, we mean we were malleting the shit out of some chicken breasts.
Exactly, to make some delicious chicken sandwiches. But a certain neurotic cat was not having it, scrambled off the table, and in her scrambling, she somehow managed to push everything off.
Everything.
Which included 2
cups.
cups.
Not just everything. Just our fucking drinks.
Yes, just them. So I had already plowed through mine, so it was just a broken glass on the ground.
I had barely, because I was trying to, make lunch, and motherfucker.
So it was a broken, right? You are lucky you are cute, because I just think of that Triumph, the insult comic dog song, like cats are cunts.
Oh, I realized that my mom doesn't like that word, but I don't care. I like it.
In England, it is used like super liberally, but on the flip side, they don't like the word fanny. And we're like, that's a cutesy term for a bottom over here. So in case you need a reminder that swears are just a social construct, fanny.
Fanny.
Right? Like, I remember
we got British listeners. Fanny.
Right? I remember being told, especially in preschool, to sit on my fanny.
Yeah, sit on your fanny.
And that sounds so amazing if you are not from America.
Oof. So,
anyway.
You know what I didn't think about? Well, I'll let you go first. Let's talk about some adulting.
Right?
What adulting have we done? What adulting have we not done?
Right? You know what? My adulting has been very career-based. So last year...
Yeah, girl.
Right? Get that money. So last year, I actually was teaching the fewest number of weekly classes I had ever taught since I started as a teacher. I think I had mentioned vaguely on one of our previous episodes that I had a situation where I had to kind of stand up for myself because I was in a situation where I was kind of getting taken advantage of, and I actually lost a class as a result. Now, 2020, I had had 3 new classes start up this year. And the best part is as I was going into class number 3, which is with the same organization that I indirectly lost my other class with, not because of them, but because of a third party. I'm trying my best to stay vague about it because I don't want to get sued by anybody and don't want any libel issues going on. But a third party was the reason why I lost the class. I walk into this particular organization and the first words out of their mouth is, "Hey, can you teach your old class again?" So guess who gets her old class in a couple of months' time?
Come at me, bitch!
Right?
Who's the boss now?
Right? Which just makes me so happy. And it is my class with them particularly, specifically and directly. It's not with that third party who was ripping me off.
So much Schadenfreude from the whole situation.
I know. So yeah, while I'm staying vague for the podcast, I've been filling in Ashley on all the tea.
Also, I realize, because sometimes I realize certain... unrelated and related. Explaining Schadenfreude. If you don't, I realize that not everyone understands or knows what Schadenfreude is. It's very elitist of us to assume that everyone does.
Yes.
So here I am going to drop some knowledge on you and tell you what your new favorite word is. Word of the episode.
Right.
Schadenfreude. So Schadenfreude is a German word, which means taking pleasure in someone else's misery.
Is that not the most German fucking word you've ever heard in your entire life?
So it's someone accidentally trips and falls.
Right.
They're
Slips
fine.
on the ice.
They're fine. They slip on the ice, or they fall down the stairs.
Or maybe it's an asshole at work who lost their job. They got fired.
Or someone runs, they're like, "I'm totally fine. I'm so sober." And they run into the wall.
Right.
And then you laugh really hard at their misery. That is
It's
Schadenfreude. Yeah, it's a great word.
It really is. And if you have ever seen Avenue Q, you can actually learn how to spell it on the fly because they have a song called Schadenfreude. So Schade and Freude. I am doing that after a drink and a half of Bellinis, motherfucker. That's a fun word to spell out.
It's a good word.
It is.
But I realized, so I went to story time. She's my work wife. And I had went to, I don't want to take too much credit. I threw her a little party. She invited friends over, and I went over before everyone came over, and I did a office themed party where I did really crappy half blown up balloons.
Yeah. But it's if you've seen The Office.
Yeah, ugly colors. Yeah. And then I printed a banner that I taped together, and it said, "Is your birthday, period." And I made cupcakes that were kind of black, and because she's very goth, and she's goth at like a cute goth. She's not a professional that wears all black. Anyway, I was talking as I was just normal, having conversation, and I had some drinks or whatever. And I had said something along the lines of, "If you would be so kind as to fall," and I was being funny and ironic. I was like, "If you would be so kind to inquire within the next room of blah, 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 blah." And they're like, "What?" And I was like, "Oh God, am I that asshole?" And then further in the night, I said some word and they're like, "What are you talking about?" And I realized, am I elitist, nerdy, I don't want to be that person. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it was flattering. My friend, she was like, "Oh, she's really, really smart. So just don't it's whatever." I was like, "Oh God, am I that nerd in the corner that's spouting stuff?" And you're like, "What? Can you dumb it down?" That's me, because I'm usually that. I'm like, "What? Can you bring it down a notch?"
It's actually kind of crazy. I've noticed this myself. You do end up in a bit of an echo chamber. You hang out with people who are of like minds, and you don't realize that what you're thinking isn't the norm until you hang out with a different group of people, and you're like, "Oh wow, the joke that would totally get laughs with those people, they're gonna give me blank stares."
But at the same time, I love vocabulary. Love vocabulary. The English language is super dumb, but it's also beautiful, also difficult and weird and whatever.
Yeah.
I also don't want to assume that someone doesn't know certain words. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like you don't
Like,
want
I
to
don't want to assume that they haven't.
like you don't want to
been-
mansplain
like,
a word.
They can be speaking a certain vernacular and still have gone to college or not have gone to college.
Exactly.
Very self-educated sort of person. Like my father was wicked smart, and all he got his like associates or something.
Yeah.
And he was so smart and loved vocabulary and language and whatever. So I never want to like make an assumption and to dumb myself down.
Yeah, because then you're offending them because it's just like, oh, well, I'm going to assume you're not smart enough. You're not as smart as me, so let me take a moment. Like,
Yeah, also it's an opportunity that if you don't know the word, you get to learn a new word.
yeah, that's been my favorite thing. I love being around people who are smarter than me because I'm like, awesome, I get to rise to the occasion. I don't like being around people who are dumber than me and make me feel like, okay, wait a minute, I have to like slow the brakes in order for them to keep up with me. Like, no, challenge my ass. Like, say a word that I don't fucking know and I'm like surreptitiously, ooh, there's another lovely little $5 word for you. Surreptitiously, like looking it up on Google.
Also, like, who casual, except for Abby, who just randomly like puts surreptitiously like into their conversation?
Panic at the Disco does. That's what they do.
Okay.
Because they have one of their songs, they use surreptitious a ton, and I'm like, God bless you, buddy.
I don't know. That seems a little elitist and unnecessary.
Yeah. But going all the way back, my class schedule has blown up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm such
like-
an asshole.
It's all right. This show is like tangent edition.
Yeah,
like non sequitur and tangents and like where the fuck did we go with that shit? Like,
Oh, man.
Honestly, if you're watching or listening to this show, especially by episode 27, you know what we're about. Like,
You know
come
what
on.
we're about?
Exactly.
Shoot. Although I do God, I'm getting away from you again. But very quickly. Recently I've been, I'm always fucking hustling our show and talking it up and pimping it out to anyone that'll listen to me. Next Friday I'm going to Shabbat, like young Jewish professionals down in Boston. I haven't been in ages since I moved, and I can guarantee you I'm gonna talk the fuck out of this show.
Amen, bitch.
Anytime anyway, I've been now kind of presenting it to people that, oh, you don't have to start from the beginning. You don't have to listen to every episode. Listen to it out of order. Just look at I should probably get better at the subject content. But like, look at what interests you. There are certain podcasts that I don't listen to every episode because some episodes don't pertain to me and I'm not really interested in that.
Yeah.
So, you know, with adulting, we're good at some things, we're not good at some things. The things that we're not good at, we bring guests on.
Exactly. And likewise, if you're listening to this particular podcast, you'd be like, ooh, I want to listen to dating, which, hey, that's what this one's going to be about. Or I don't want to listen to about taxes, then awesome, skip the one about taxes.
Yeah.
The only one that I listen to in sequential order is My Dad Wrote a Porno.
Yep.
And that's the only one that you have to listen to in order because he is reading out a porno. Like, come on. But going all the way back one more time.
Get in that class.
Right? Get in that class, getting classes in general. I had 3 start this month. I have an additional one starting in February, additional one starting in March, and an additional one starting in April. So girlfriend's getting her cash. Right. So it feels good. Like, I was doing the math on my yearly salary because since I'm freelance, it's not as easy as like, oh yeah, this is definitely what I made because this is what my direct deposits tell me. I have to kind of do the math myself. I'm still making more than I ever did as a preschool teacher, which is honestly kind of damning with faint praise because I did not make a lot as a preschool teacher. But this year, there's a chance I could make upwards of twice as much as what I made in 2019.
Fuck yeah, high five.
What's up? So that's where my adulting is at. My adulting is about getting that cash, bitch.
Get that cash money.
Right? How
Money.
about you?
Money.
Woo,
Money.
woo,
Mm.
woo,
Money.
whoa.
Cardi B. Oh,
Tell me some adulting / not adulting.
okay. I did laundry the other day,
Hey, boom.
and it's still sitting in the basket.
Whatever.
It's clean. It's upstairs. It's not sitting in the laundry room. The big thing is that I moved it.
Hey.
And last weekend, I could have done stuff, But I stayed here and I cleaned the house with
Girl.
Michael. We like cleaned the basement.
That's
I
how
went
you do
through
it.
not one, but wait, I think you were here for when I was doing one of them. I went through not one, but 2 junk drawers.
Yes.
Like huge. Huge.
Huge, man.
Huge.
Some Bernie Sanders levels of huge.
Huge, like opposite of our president's hands.
Oh my goodness, right? If these were hands, it'd be gigantic fucking hands.
Yeah. So I did that.
Hey,
Very proud.
That's some proud adulting right there.
Let's talk about some non-proud adulting real quick. So in New Hampshire, you have to get your car registered and inspected in your birthday month.
Yes.
I finally got my car registered in January this month. And although, this episode will probably
February-ish.
or the beginning of February, or
Yeah.
I don't know. It's up to.
Well, I mean,
Pat's
it's.
schedule.
Oh, here's a little we're gonna pull the curtain back. It is the 25th of January right now, so.
Don't tell them.
So episodes can take upwards of even 2 to 3 weeks to come out. So we're gonna say sometime in the February.
And I don't know. I can't remember because alcohols and stuff. That we are trying to move our podcasting posting episodes to monthly.
Yes.
Possibly bi-monthly, depending on how frequent. Yeah. So
our
it'll be like
fan
a bonus
base and,
episode if we get it bi-monthly.
There we go.
Or not
exactly.
bi-monthly, because bi-monthly would
Or
mean every 2 months.
Yeah, semi-monthly, I think. I'm trying to remember because the semi-annual
Bi-weekly?
sale is bi-weekly works for me. Because I know the semi-annual sale with Victoria's Secret is once every 6 months. Isn't this really fucking sad that this is how I know that semi-monthly or semi-yearly or semi-annual means twice in a year because of a fucking Victoria's Secret ad? God damn.
Fuck that place.
Right? Yes, fuck that place
Long
too.
story
but anyway.
short, my inspection is expired. Yeah.
Which happened to me too. Because remember, I had to get a brand new bumper in order to pass inspection, and it hit October, and I'm like, hi guys, time to get a new bumper, I guess. What's up?
Yeah. So I keep saying okay, I'm gonna do it, or then I don't have the cash, and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it, and I'll get to it. I keep holding my breath anytime Waze tells me there's a cop coming up. I'm like, don't see my inspection sticker. Don't see my inspection sticker.
I really hope, because honestly, I mean, some of the small town cops, they've got nothing better to do.
They'll just say, I'll say, oh, I was on my way, I completely forgot, or oh my God, it's expired, I'll go right now.
Which is exactly what happened to me, and this was actually a genuine, I completely slipped up on registration, and I got pulled over in Candia, New Hampshire, which is population 4. It's a really tiny, tiny town, and I got pulled over by the Candia police, and they were like, license and registration. I'm like, here's my license, and here's the registration for 2017. Let me try to find the one for 2018 because this happened in 2018. And he was like, there's a reason why you can't find the 2018, right? And I was like, oh, wait a minute. And he's like, yeah, your registration's expired. But the fact that he realized that I did not realize I had not registered yet, he's like, hey, I get it. This was an honest mistake. I'm just going to give you a warning. Just go and get registered. I was like, thanks, buddy.
Also,
thanks.
fuck you, New Hampshire, for making our birthday month about doing adulting shit.
Right. Our birthday month comes along and we're like, fuck, I got to do all this shit for my car.
Especially for me, because it's oh, we get a bonus for the holidays. And it's I have to use that to register my car.
Yeah, it's great.
Bullshit.
I'm not getting that fancy ass kitchen appliance I want. Nope, I'm getting a brand new fucking carburetor or some shit. Anyway.
So I guess on to the meat of the episode.
Yes.
The sexy meat.
Ooh, the sexy, sexy meat.
Sexy.
That's the name I used to dance under. Sexy.
Sexy meat.
Sexy meat.
So this episode was requested by I don't know if he's new. He's a new listener. Mm-hmm. Aaron. He said, did y'all do, he's like, I've listened to a couple or whatever. Did y'all do an episode on dating? I said, I think we have. I'm not sure. But I can guarantee you that if we haven't, we will.
Right.
And so, true to our word,
Here we are.
here's your dating episode.
Right?
So, Abby, where do you think we should start?
Well, I mean, one thing we can do is, if we want, we can start actually with 10 questions to ask someone before you start dating, which is the very, very beginning. So there's a huge caveat here that this is not cut and dried, that if your answers differ from each other, or you don't, this is not a quiz. You're not trying to get an 80% or better. This doesn't mean your relationship's going to be bad or that you should not pursue a relationship with this person. These are just things to keep in mind.
This is a good way to think before you even jump into the dating pool, to have a mind of what questions, manicuring it to you, and what are you looking for in dating. If you don't know what you would want to ask, then you're not ready. Sit down and be okay, what do I want out of a relationship, or what do I want out of dating right now?
Exactly. So if anything, this can just help kind of narrow the field a little bit, or get a little more clarity on the person that you're starting to see. So question number 1, what kind of relationship are you ready for? So these would be things you'd be asking the other person, but you could also be asking yourself that, because the big note here is I said ready for, not what you want, not what you're looking for, but what you're ready for. So one of the things when we were compiling dating horror stories and online dating horror stories, one of the things that kept popping up for me is a lot of people will go onto these dating sites fresh out of their divorce or fresh out of their breakup, and they are not fucking ready for anything. But they'll say, oh no, I'm looking for a girlfriend, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that. But they're not ready for that at all. So that is the key word there. What relationship are you ready for? Question number 2, are you monogamous or non-monogamous? Again, it's 2020. We got to make sure that we're doing what's right for us.
Yes.
It's not about oh, I'm courting somebody until I can have their hand in marriage and we're going to have 2.5 kids. Oh my God. No. Some people are going to be monogamous. You're going to be with one person and one person only. Some people are non-monogamous and they're going to prefer to date and have multiple relationships or just date around. Neither version is the right one or the wrong one.
There's more than one version.
Exactly. And there are more than one ways to be monogamous, and there's more than one ways to be non-monogamous.
You can be monogamous and non-monogamous. You can be
monogamish.
Monogamish.
Right?
I feel like I'm monogamish.
Monogamish.
You could be monogamous with your boyfriend, but also occasionally bring in, a lady friend to come into the mix.
I have a few friends
you both
that
are into.
Right? I have a few friends where they're monogamous, but if the woman wants to make out with her female friends, have at it. It's all about what flavor of, monogamy/monogamy works best for you. And it's important to kind of lay that out, because you don't want to be going in, if you are a super, super strict monogamous person, you don't want to be going in with someone who's, say, polyamorous and being oh, fucking shit, I've been surprised by this noise. Again, there's no right or wrong avenue here, as long as it is completely and clearly communicated.
And if you aren't, say you are just trying to get a feel and you're really monogamous and that's your thing, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you really like the other person, they say that they are polyamorous, right, or just any sort of flavor of that, don't try and say you're okay with it if you're not.
Right? There's no such thing as being a good sport in dating.
Yeah, if you're not, just say, that's not for me. Don't try and settle. If you don't think you're going to be comfortable with it, be open and honest and say, I really like you, but that's not my cup of tea.
Right? And I'll probably come back to this at a later point in this podcast, but a good rule of thumb, if it's not a fuck yes, it's a no. If you if you have to oh, you know what, I guess I could make it work. No, it's a no, honey.
That
just
should
don't
be
do it.
Part of the title for
all right,
episode.
if it's not a fuck yes, it's a no.
Yeah.
Right? Cute. Watch out for that one. So question number 3, which is kind of like a subset of question number 2, what do you consider cheating to be? This is a huge one. So in a lot of online communities that I'm a part of, they'll be oh my God, do you consider this cheating? Do you consider that cheating? Is Snapchatting with X, Y, and Z cheating? It's and I'm one of those fucking obnoxious people, because I always comment with, well, what are the agreements in your relationship? Because to me, cheating is You went against the agreements in your relationship. And every relationship's going to have different agreements. Again, if you are polyamorous, cheating might mean I didn't use a condom when I had sex with this other partner, or I didn't inform you that I was going to have sex with this other partner. Or you could be on the other end of the spectrum where cheating could be if you flirt with that woman, you're cheating. If you get her number, you're cheating. So make sure this is like hammered out at the very beginning. What are the rules and the boundaries of the relationship? What do you consider cheating? And it is okay if you have different levels, different ideas of what cheating means. The idea is you got to make sure you find a middle ground, and you got to make sure you're respecting what the other person considers cheating. Because that's one of my big things is you don't get to decide what your partner considers cheating. Mm-hmm. Your partner gets to decide what's cheating for her or him or a non-binary. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. A non-binary pronoun. But if it doesn't work out, it's better to know now than 6 months down the line, you flirt with this person and, oh my God, I couldn't believe you cheated on me. And then you get into a huge fucking blow up. So question number 4, what is your love language / how do you express love and what makes you feel loved? That's a huge one, guys, because we all express love differently. I think we've actually talked about love languages in a previous podcast, but it could be everything from maybe you're giving gifts, maybe you like to touch somebody, maybe you're all about the words.
That's like, sorry, not to interrupt, no. But that's like the most healthy and beneficial way to start off any sort of relationship is to let any potential, not just romantic people, but friends, let them know what your love language is so that they're not thrown for a loop to be like, this is how I express my love. Exactly. This is how I like to receive my love. So that you can kind of accommodate them, they can accommodate you, and you're not surprised when you're like, well, they're not doing this, and they're not doing that. Well, did they say that that's what their love language is?
Right? Exactly.
Is that how they show love?
Exactly. And that's a really huge thing.
Yeah, don't freak the fuck out if they're not texting you every goddamn day, every hour.
Maybe they're not a words of affirmation person. That's okay. And that really is a huge one. And I know for some people that's like, oh, well, that will take the passion out of the relationship and the guesswork, blah, blah, blah. No, some things need to just be explicitly laid out. And the whole guesswork thing is fucking exhausting.
We're too old for this shit.
Yeah, I am too old for this shit. I am Danny Glovering this fucking dating aspect. We are just too old for this shit. So question number 5 is, do you want to have kids someday? Which for some people can be a little much. Wait a minute, are you asking to have kids with
Hell
me?
no.
Blah, blah, blah.
Before I even meet you, I need to know.
Exactly. And again, it is perfectly okay to date somebody who wants to have kids when you don't want to have kids, or they don't want to have kids when you want to have kids, especially if we're talking, say, non-monogamy or polyamory. You don't necessarily have to have the exact same future goals in mind, but you want to know off the bat whether or not this is somebody you're going to have kids with or not have kids with, because I know too many relationships that completely bottomed out because they just assumed that the other person knew they wanted kids or didn't want kids, and all of a sudden they hit this milestone, this crossroads in the relationship, and it's like, oh wow, we need to shit or get off the pot. Aren't we going to have kids? And the other one's like, no, I don't want to have kids, and everything fucking blows up.
Yeah.
So know off the bat whether or not you guys are on the same page about kids or not. Again, you don't have to have kids together, but it's just good to know.
Or in general.
But it's good to know whether or not they, you want the same things that they want. So question number 6. Do you have a high or a low sex drive? So these next 3 questions are actually pretty important to lay out, because every article that I read about compatible relationships and what have you talk about these next 3 topics that I'm going to bring in. One of them is sex drive. If you have incompatible sex drives, you might have a really hard time navigating a relationship together. Again, doesn't mean you can't be dating. It's okay to date somebody who has a low sex drive when you have a high sex drive, but to know that might be a source of contention or a source of clashing.
That's why God invented vibrators.
Exactly. Or if we are non-monogamous, that's why God invented multiple partners. So number 7, are you clean or are you messy? So this is another one that, usually they say opposites attract, but if you are a naturally clean person and you're with somebody who's naturally messy, you will probably clash about it, especially if you end up moving in together. And it's also important to note that there is a relativeness to this. Like, we're talking a spectrum here. Like, some people, when they say clean, they mean everything is in its spot the second I'm not using it. Other people mean there's not shit.
Definitely be that person's worst nightmare.
Right? Other people, it's like, I just make sure there's not like clutter everywhere, and I make sure I put it away, which I think I'm a little closer to that side than the like everything in its spot. Likewise, you might not consider yourself messy, but maybe to somebody else, like, holy fucking shit, yeah, you're messy. You left your shower towel out or something like that. So it's important to recognize, like, where are you on the cleanliness versus messiness spectrum?
I find that with like some couples that I clean for, one in particular, that he is more about, for him, cleanliness is like a clean tub, like dusting and all of that. But he's okay with, a shoe left here, a sweater left there, or whatever, but the house is like clean, like, Lysol clean. Mm-hmm. And the wife, she is more about clutter and decluttering, and doesn't care if there's a thin layer of dust. So they have opposites.
There you go. So it's important to be able to navigate that. Again, you don't necessarily have to end a relationship with somebody just because they're messy and you're clean. It's just something you want to know off the bat. And the third one out of this like lovely trifecta is, are you somebody who naturally saves money, or are you somebody who naturally spends it? So
these are all
right.
Feel so targeted.
I feel so attacked right now. I'm charging you with attempted murder. That's actually a Facebook group I'm just trying to drunkenly reference.
What's it called?
I feel so attacked. I'm charging you with attempted murder.
I need to be part of that group. Add me.
I am going to invite you after this particular podcast. But it really is the case that when you talk about like the reasons why people break up or the reasons why people divorce, finances is like one of the top 3 reasons. And it really is. If you are somebody who gets money and you immediately like, I want to buy this, I want to buy that. Or if you're the type of person who gets money and you go, I can't wait to put this into an IRA. IRA. I'm a little drunk, guys.
I feel so personally attacked. Attempted murder.
It is all good. So it's important to know that. And again, you don't necessarily have to stop dating somebody just because they're a spender and you're a saver. It's just something you want to keep in mind for the future. So the last 2 ones, one of them is, how much time do you have for the relationship? Which I think is important to kind of lay out. If you are a workaholic, that's okay. It's just important to lay out ahead of time what the expectations are going to be. Is it going to be like, you know what, maybe I'll see you more once a week, maybe I'll see you every other week? Is it, no, I'm going to see you every night, I'm going to see you multiple times a week, or anything like that? It's important to know kind of what your time commitment can be to the relationship. And again, you don't have to be asking this first thing and on your first date, so how much time do you have for this relationship? That's a bit fucking much, but it's
definitely something in the beginning. So for example, with me and Michael, I definitely am a very hands-on, me. Where I used to be more let's hang out all the time, let's text all the time, all of that. And pretty much in every beginning of a relationship, you see each other a lot, you're fucking a lot, you're texting, and
the NRE is for real, new relationship
energy. You're in the honeymoon period, and it's great. Well, then I started to learn. He was like, "Oh, I'm gonna have a night to myself," and immediately I'm took defense, and I'm like, "What?
You don't love me?
What do you
want
mean
time for yourself?
You need time to yourself? I don't understand this. I'm also an extrovert, so." I'm like, what? Right. So I had to adjust, and I'm not saying I did it well, because I didn't. It took learning and growing and, becoming more adult and understanding that people are different. And I had to adjust that he's not a texter and he's not a phone person and all of that. And I am. We have different love languages. And it forced me to be way more independent, and it made me hone in on things that I'm good at or that I enjoy. Like, I really like my friends. I really like hanging out with my friends or hanging out with people in general. So I kind of rotate, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. I transferred my need for physical attention, affection, and presences to my friends. And it made me, well, I can't really say independent if I'm hanging out with other people, but independent of not becoming less codependent in my romantic relationship.
Recognizing that one person can't be the person who meets all of your needs.
Yeah.
So, which even if you're in a monogamous arrangement, like, that's something to remember. Like, somebody can't meet all of your needs. That is virtually impossible.
Like, I don't remember where I saw it, but it was like your romantic partner should not be your best friend.
I remember seeing that as well. And I think that's important.
And
like,
I'm sure you'll have an argument or whatever, but the thing is that you really need someone that is separate from your romantic relationship, because you need to have that outlet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And again, there's no right or wrong answer here.
Yeah.
It really is what works for you guys. And again, this is also, don't be a good sport. If the person you're dating is only going to be able to see you like once in a blue moon, and you know for yourself that's a deal breaker, that's okay to say, hey, you know what? I need a higher time commitment than what you're available for. I think we need to see other people. Again, it's not a right or wrong situation. It is just, can you make sure that's communicated? And then the last question is, how do you communicate when there's a problem? Which is a huge thing, because a lot of us don't really communicate when there's problems. Like, maybe we're the type of person who gets snarky and passive aggressive. I know I'm guilty of that, and I'm working on that pretty hardcore because I don't want to be that person anymore. Or maybe you're the person who ghosts. I honestly feel like the reason why there's an uptick in ghosting in relationships is because people don't want to communicate when there's a problem.
They don't want to have to deal with the confrontation.
Exactly.
And the awkwardness, and no one wants to have to feel that emotion of awkwardness and just like uncomfortability and yeah.
And again, like, you don't have to know a step-by-step, this is what I do when I communicate a problem. Even just asking this question and making sure that your partner knows, hey, you want to know, like, if there's a problem, how are you going to tell me? That alone is going to let them know, I want to know if there's a problem. Tell me if there's a problem. So that alone, like, you're laying some important groundwork. Again, you might have completely different communication styles, and that's okay. I personally think number 10 is really about setting the tone. Like, recognizing, hey, sometimes relationships have problems. It could even just be tiny little hiccups. That's okay. Are you going to be able to communicate them? And likewise, you are safe to communicate them with me. So yeah, again, this is not a quiz. This is not like if you get an 80% or lower, you're going to have to break up with a person. These are just things that you want to make sure you're communicating, especially in the very beginning of a relationship.
Yeah, for sure. And I think before we talk about dating struggles, it's 2020, right? So we're all doing online dating.
Yeah.
Okay? So
if you're dating, you have a dating app.
Stigma's gone, all right? You're doing online dating. That's where we're at.
That's how you meet people.
That's how you meet people.
That's how you meet friends these days.
It's the easiest way.
It really is.
So there are a lot of dating apps out there. So Esquire did an article because there's a lot of dating apps, and some of them you don't know about, some you do know about. So there are 15 alternative dating apps to Tinder. We actually, briefly before we started recording, talked about Tinder.
Yes.
Because Abby said that she thought what used to be originally
that Tinder was just a hookup app.
Yeah. However, I'll read a brief little thing later in the episode that Tinder is no longer, at least as of, 4 years ago or 5 years. I'm trying to remember how long she's been with her boyfriend. Anyway, Tinder can be used for dating. It's not just for hookup. My friend who is not a hookup person and her boyfriend's not a hookup person, they met each other and they're so sweet and adorable, and they met each other on Tinder.
Oh.
So, anyway, Whether you love or loathe Tinder, this is an Esquire article by someone. Don't see the author, whatever.
Paid. I hope you got paid in money, not paid in exposure.
Okay, so we have Hinge, which Pat had mentioned to us. Hinge is I would say it's kind of like a safe space because it's you match with your friends' friends.
So not complete strangers. This is
like via Facebook. So hopefully your friends have Facebook.
Right.
And I have some friends that aren't in Facebook and then I've got rid of it, but they're still on Instagram. Anyway, let's see. Pro, brashness. If you're pursuing a date on Hinge, discretion must be an issue, blah, blah, blah. It's just like, know that it's friends. So it's going to get awkward, but it's also good because you know that, it's going to be hard to ghost or
because there's always a connection back. Like,
if you see the connection, you can reach out to the friend and be like, oh, what
hey, James didn't text me back. Can you check in or something like that?
Yeah.
Like, what's up with him?
So it's good. Oh, I've never heard of this.
Badoo. I've never heard of this myself.
400 million members. It's the world's most popular dating app, even though I've never heard of it, but I'm also not single.
I was about to say, we're in some long-term committed relationships. What do we know?
So it's under the same umbrella company as Bumble. It allows users to upload a picture of a celebrity or famous figure they fancy.
Okay.
And the app serves up members who look similar. Interesting.
Fascinating.
It's a non-swiping app, and it allows you a smaller pool of potential dates tailored to your taste.
So I've heard actually really negative things about the swiping-based dating apps. People don't like them at all. It's you have to make this snap judgment
also,
and swipe.
Also, people are terrible at taking pictures.
Oh,
Men are, at least.
Exactly.
No
Honestly,
offense, Pat.
yeah. Honestly, if I based Isaac just off of pictures, I probably wouldn't have dated him because, again, some people just don't translate to film very well.
Well, because men are not as vain as women. And they're not about, I don't know, they don't usually have their girlfriend be like, that picture doesn't look great. So pick another one. Oh, wait, that lighting is terrible. That makes you look fat.
Meanwhile, the guy's like, I look good.
They're
Close enough.
Cool. Put a fish in there. Actually, my late boyfriend, he had a picture with him and a fish, and he had a big goofy smile. I was like, oh, he looks sweet. He's not trying or anything.
Nice.
There's another one. Oh, Guardian Soulmates. That sounds creepy.
Right?
Longest standing dating site on the internet.
Really?
Oh, it's a paid subscription. Fuck that.
Ugh, exhausting.
£35 a month?
Nope. No. Pass. Hard pass.
Pros, strong reputation and compatible crowd. Cons, not as innovative or packed with features as newer dating apps.
And yet you're spending through the fucking nose per month for it.
All right,
Bye.
Coffee Meets Bagel. So this one, if you don't know, that's basically where the woman has to message first.
Which I'm down with, given that guys are some thirsty dudes on dating apps.
Yeah. Actually, it didn't even say that on there, but that's what it is, right? That the woman has to message first.
If I remember correctly, that's, it
gives the power. I think it is in favor of men because it's always all the other dating apps. It's you get 1 million messages and the men are sending all this stuff and getting shut down or whatever, but this makes them to do the next move. Anyway, down. Ooh. Gives you the chance to tell your friends rather than strangers that you want to sleep with them. Interesting.
Okay.
Ooh. All right. Okay. Happen, HAPPN, no E. Hook up with the people you walk past on the street.
No.
Damn.
No. That's so stalkery. I'm not okay with this one. Oh my God.
Once you get over the slight stalker complex happened and feels on you by showing women who walk past your front door and an hour ago, matching with users within a 250-meter radius is actually quite handy. Chances are you live or work in the same area. No! Cons, if the date goes horribly,
they're a psycho?
There are no assurances you won't bump into her when you're buying milk a few days later.
No, I'm out. Pass on happen. Pass on happen.
Okay, Cupid.
All right. Okay, Cupid.
I met my boyfriend on Okay Cupid.
Yeah. Okay, Cupid. It's a good app.
And so I met my late boyfriend on OkCupid. And then I signed up again. But the second time I signed up, I didn't think I was ready emotionally to date because my boyfriend had died.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. I've been through therapy, okay?
Yeah. And I believe we've chatted, again, if you are somebody who's been listening to this linearly and chronologically,
I've had my cry, okay?
we've chatted about this before.
So I didn't think I was ready. And so I had signed up looking for activity partners, and I specifically didn't check looking for dating, and that I was looking for friends. Someone to climb with, someone to go hiking with. I get along very well with males, so I figured that would be a good way. Little did I know that my boyfriend did not care that that's what I was just looking for. He was like, I'm trying to look. And his luck was good.
Hey.
6 years later. Ended up being good because we just like had even if there was no romantic thing, I would have got lucky because we had a lot of things going on compatibility wise for friends. USP, I don't know what that means. Endless personality quiz questions. They give you the match percentage that with would-be partners. Pro, you can weed out people with traits or points of view you find simply unacceptable. Racist, bigots, Mumford and Son fans. What? I feel attacked. Which is hilarious because Michael loves Mumford and Sons.
My ex loves Mumford and Sons, and he's the kind of person like on multiple occasions would interrupt a conversation because Mumford and Sons were playing on the radio, and like this is I hope he's not listening because he's gonna feel so called out. Afterwards,
I hope he is.
Right? Afterwards, for a while was like we would, basically a terrible nickname was he who interrupts conversations to listen to Mumford and Sons. Like that would be his long nickname.
I feel like I got more into Mumford and Sons because of Michael.
Hey, and I want to say, like Mumford and Sons, like they have a good lot of music.
Don't at me. It's
right?
good.
And I want to also mention before we completely jump off OkCupid, if you are non-monogamous or polyamorous, OkCupid is going to be your best route. Like from everything I looked at, it is the only app out there where you can say, I'm non-monogamous, I'm seeing somebody. You can even like link up your profile with your partner's profile. And
nice.
And no other app does that. So Tinder doesn't. And I think I was remembering like other ones will actually kick you off if they find out that you're in a relationship with somebody, even if you are polyamorous. So if you want to go down the dating route app and you're non-monogamous, OKC is where it's at.
So now let's get into the trash.
Oh,
well,
the trash.
Just for this. Plenty of fish.
Mm-hmm.
I never used it, but I got a story that I'll share later about Plenty of Fish. She said, long story short, Plenty of Fish is trash.
Yes.
It's a huge ocean with more members than any others. Pro, unlike most apps, doing the basics, looking at profiles, blah, 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 it's free. Cons, a high number of sexually frustrated virgin trolls means a lot of women find it using a harrowing experience, which understandably makes them cagey when you, a normal man, comes along. Mm-hmm. It's disheartening how many women have to resort to please no sex pests appendices on their profile info.
Okay. Again, I hear this shit and I'm just like, I am so glad I don't have to deal with that.
Now let's get to the sex.
All right, Grindr,
baby. Which basically, it works if you happen to be gay, bisexual, or curious. Mm-hmm. So if you want to get down, more power to you.
Rock out.
Get it in. Mm-hmm. Go on to Grindr. Lumen is for dating for over 50s.
Rock out if you are a silver fox.
We have some over 50 listeners.
Right.
So
get down with your bad self,
50s.
ladies and sir.
Most, if not all, dating apps provide age boundaries. So sad. Lumen is the first dedicated service for people over 50.
There we go.
Yeah.
I like that.
Actually, I don't think... I looked at this quickly. It doesn't have J-Date on there.
Oh,
J-Date is a thing, and you can use it. I remember talking to a good success story for J-Date, but honestly, it's only for Jewish listeners, so.
But still, if you are of
Shabbat
the Jewish...
Shalom, because it's Saturday today.
What's up? The 25th, which we're not supposed to be telling you guys, but shh.
Inner Circle. Members are vetted, and they also run IRL in real life singles events. Blah, blah, blah. Ensures perverts are banished, which means everyone wins except the perverts.
I am always okay when everyone wins but the perverts.
Cons, after sending someone a message, you're notified when they're checking your profile, which means you can actually see yourself being rejected in real time. But hey, that's real life.
Yeah.
Bumble.
Oh, Bumble.
I've only used Bumble to find friends. For
Bumble BFF. Yes.
Hi, Kayla.
Hey.
Like Tinder, once you match, only the ladies can make the first move and say hello. Pros, women have an extra barrier against, hey, hun, wanna fuck? Blah, blah, blah. Also means if she got in touch with you, you definitely weren't an accidental swipe. Cons, none really. Though one minor gripe is that Bumble's algorithm clearly pulls 10 of the highest rated profiles to the top of your feed every time you log in. Well, that's sad. Parading the hottest, least obtainable women in front of your face every time you log in feels a bit manipulative.
Which,
Truly.
yeah, that is.
The thing is, a lot of like, no offense, Pat. It's just because you're a man and you're that.
I'm a man.
I feel like a lot of guys don't know how to fill out their profile.
Yeah, honestly.
Well, and there's a lot of guys out there. They're a huge catch.
Yeah, but their
Are
profile
awkward
just
and
doesn't.
They're just like, this feels vapid and weird and I'm whatever.
And honestly, the guys that do, it's like sometimes that's a red flag. Like, I'm easygoing, I'm this, I'm that. I'm like, oh boy, like you're actually a red flag.
Yeah, and it's hard to know how to be braggy without being braggy. And the guys that are braggy, you don't want them to be braggy because they don't care about you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Luxie.
There's a lot of these.
Okay,
like
Luxie,
Muddy Matches. There's a lot of these.
Countryside lovers? Oh my God.
So this is like farmersonly.com. All right.
Taste buds. Oh, that was the last.
So if anything, there's a lot out there. Figure out what works for you. And you know what? If a certain app is not working out for you, try something different.
And then quickly, do's and don'ts for filling out your profile. Okay. So I found an article on Elite Daily. It's dating apps, do's and don'ts, basically. 1, keep an open mind to meeting someone outside of your comfort zone.
Yes. Honestly, if I didn't do that, there's a number of relationships I never would have gotten into if I didn't, they're not my quote-unquote type, but let's see where this goes.
Also, you don't have to be match for match. You need to have something different. You don't just... Going back to your partner.
Oh no,
not
we're only an
need to
80%
be
match.
Your best
blah blah
friend.
blah. Yeah, exactly. That's bullshit.
2, keep your personal quote to a minimum.
Yeah, like no one needs your diatribe, war and peace, like manifesto of yourself.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 3, be honest about your background. Be honest about your background. Be honest about your background.
Right? If you got out of a divorce, mention that.
If you have a child.
Right? Mention. If you got out of jail, mention that. Like, you don't want to pretend you're somebody different just to...
you don't gotta lie.
Right?
Which we do have an interesting story.
Yeah.
Okay. So 5, after the first encounter, keep it cool. Don't go crazy. Don't be texting them 24/7 or whatever.
Allow the slow burn, guys.
It's not about lying. It's just like, don't be so fucking intense. We know you're excited.
Don't blow up the DMs.
Yeah. Just be like, great. Just save all that enthusiasm for just pace it out.
Exactly.
Pace it.
Again, quick to ripe, quick to rotten. So enjoy it. Let it.
Like it. Cool. This one, I kept all the things that they left. Okay. Be prepared for a disappearing act.
The ghosting.
Yeah. Keep in mind you can be ghosted, blocked, dropped at any given moment. It should come as no surprise if he or she simply falls off the face of the earth after a 2-hour FaceTime session that you left feeling as though you just found your soulmate. Maybe an old flame started calling again. Maybe it's just a case of cold feet, or maybe they simply forgot their password and can't be bothered. In any case, you have to leave a little room for disappointment. Yep.
Because it happens.
I've definitely been like, oh, you're cool, but this other person's way more cool. No offense to you, but this is the love of my life.
Or like, hey, we have great conversation, and I do enjoy spending time with you, but the romantic chemistry just isn't there.
Yes.
Like, it happens, and you got to be ready for that.
7, video chat. This one is great, although it's not. Fortunately, I guess, not relevant to us now.
Yeah.
But for our single people still dating, video chat is mandatory and non-negotiable.
Fascinating.
So, first and foremost, you have to confirm you are not being catfished by some old weirdo hiding behind a profile and holding his dick. I added that.
Oh, I like that.
And after you've gotten over that small hurdle, quote unquote, pre-dates, allow you to break the ice and actually communicate on a more intimate level, minus the distractions of a noisy bar or restaurant. This is a make or break moment, because if you suddenly feel uncomfortable for any reason, you can always end the conversation and save yourself from an awkward first and last date.
Nice.
This is huge. Huge.
Huge, kid.
Huge.
The opposite of our president's hands, kid.
Do it. Technology is there for a reason. Fucking use it.
Right?
You can see them. Video. Yes, it's awkward, but rather do that in the comfort of your own home.
Then, like, dress up, go out on an evening, meet them at a bar.
Play, you know, having to spend money because it's 2020 and going Dutch.
Right?
2020.
Right.
Okay? So, okay. And yeah. Oh, be aware of the hookups disguised as looking for love.
Yes, and that actually kind of goes back to the what type of relationship are you ready for? Because some people will be like, no, I'm looking for my princess that I can like blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
but no, they're saying that shit because they're looking for a one-night stand.
Yeah. 9, anything too easy or eager deserves a step backward.
Yes.
See step 8.
Right? And again, if you've ever seen the show You, like,
Yes.
too eager means you might die. Yeah. So, bye.
Hey, bye. 10.
Thou shalt not send nudes. And again, no nude shaming at all. Like, if you do want to like take nude photos or eventually send nude photos to somebody that you care and trust,
Nude it
no
up.
shame. And again, if somebody leaks your nudes, that's on fucking them, not on you. But if you have not met them yet, you don't know who you're sending that to.
No. Or like, who you're sending it to.
Exactly. Like, keep that. So I will say that
men and women. Women. I mean, we're not just talking to.
Yeah, because I actually know somebody who got like basically, I forget what the term is when they're just fishing for photos, but that's what's happened to him. And she like explicitly asked for a dick pic, and he was like, "Oh my God, a woman wants a dick pic? Here we go." And we found out that it was like a photo phishing situation.
Oh, poor baby.
I know, that was
Guys,
bullshit.
Don't send your dicks.
Right?
Even if they ask for it, be like, let me get to know you better.
Exactly.
A little bit more.
Or you can do that whole spin around like, I can't wait to show you in person.
Yeah, there you go. Also, men don't, if you do, go for it if you want to, but don't let a woman treat you like a piece of meat. You don't need to be a hookup either.
Exactly.
Okay?
I'm over this attitude that men have a higher sex drive than women, and like men want sex all the time and women don't. Like, you can
Case in point, meet me.
Right? And me too. God damn it. Like, again, you can be a guy and be like, no, I don't want to just be like, oh yeah, look at my dick, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's okay. You're not less of a man because you're not this crazy ass horn dog who can't wait to show everybody his penis.
Yeah. Not everyone wants to see it.
All right?
Some of us do. But don't at me with your nudes.
Right? No.
But
again,
do. But don't. But Snapchat.
All right.
Okay. And then last but not least, if you're hitting it off and you're getting to know each other, refrain from digging.
Oh, yes.
Don't Facebook stalk them.
Right? You're just going to hurt yourself.
I also have to disagree with this.
Well,
if you're going to use your discretion.
Exactly. Recognize that you're probably going to see photos of their
Don't
ex.
go all you.
Exactly. And again, if you have not seen that show, like, I fully fucking recommend it. It is a Netflix original.
It also makes me feel personally attacked.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, it really, like, so again, because so we both of us love the show You, and it really does point out, like, there's a lot a person can learn about you if you have like a public profile or your Instagram is super intimate. Like, be careful on that shit. All right, like, guard yourself.
Unless you're me and I am very public as fuck and I don't care.
Right.
Well, I say public as fuck. My last name is not on my Facebook just because of work. So, so tips for just to kind of close out this part of the episode. So tips for navigating a brand new relationship.
Yep.
Don't compare.
Right. I always love this this thing where they will talk about like steak versus chicken or something like that, where it's like, well, I need to compare myself against the ex. What did the ex have that I didn't have? You're two different dishes.
Yeah.
You brought something different to the table. Don't compare yourself. And likewise, don't compare yourself to other relationships. Like, one of the worst things you can do is put your relationship on what's known as the relationship escalator and be like, well, they moved in after 6 months. We've been together for 6 months. Why aren't we moving in yet? They got married after 2 years. Why didn't we get married after 2 years?
Those steps are the wrong steps.
Right?
Or could be the wrong steps, depending on the relationship.
There is no one size fits all. So please don't compare yourself to exes, to other people's relationships, to other single people. You're only going to hurt yourself.
Yep. Also, be honest.
Yes.
Be yourself.
Again, that goes back to the don't be a good sport.
Yeah.
If you're with someone who's non-monogamous and you're monogamous, don't be like, oh, I guess I can make it work. No, be honest with yourself. It's going to hurt to say, hey, I have this great connection with you, but we have different dating styles. It's not going to work out. That hurts, but it's going to hurt less than 6 months down the line, you have a meltdown because they had a date with somebody else.
Or if you don't want kids and the other person, you're like, I guess I would be fine. No,
Right.
no one should ever have that sort of statement come out of their mouth.
Right? Kids
to
is too much of
and raise a whole human goddamn being.
That's too much of an investment to be like, well, I guess I can do that. Like, no.
You're gonna fuck up that kid,
right? I know too many people
resentful
who
that you had this child,
right?
and they ruined your life, and
I know too many people who grew up with parents who clearly did not want to be parents, and they have the most fucked up messages about what love is for them.
Oh,
all right.
Yeah.
And also make sure that again, if it is not a fuck yes, it's a no.
I like that.
So this is one of my biggest attitudes, especially when it comes to things like moving in together, getting married, having kids. If you hear those particular options and you don't go, fuck yeah, it's a no. If you have to rationalize yourself into getting married, if you have to rationalize yourself into moving in together, it's a no. It's okay to say no. It's okay to say, you know what, I'm just not feeling that. Trust me on this one. I feel like the biggest regret I have heard from people, especially around my age, especially those who are going through divorces right now, is that they rationalize themselves into something that they really didn't want, but felt like, that's probably for the best, so I guess I'll do it. And then they hit like 31, 32, and it all fucking blows up. Again, if it's not a fuck yes, it's a no.
And then I think we can tie these two together of not settling and red flags.
Yes.
So, just what I said.
Don't settle, man.
Don't settle. You don't have to be like, but also don't also think that you're settling for certain things. You're like, oh, I could be okay with this or whatever, when it's really your own grievances that you need to get over as an adult. And you're like, oh, well, I'm settling. Or you're forcing yourself into being a more grown-up and more of an adult. So it's not that you're settling. You're just forcing yourself to be a better human.
Right.
An adult. I feel so attacked personally by myself. And then red flags.
Yes.
Abusive, verbally, emotionally.
Any disrespect.
Physically.
A person who disrespects you once will disrespect you again. Like, especially, like, there's this amazing meme that's like, what is it? A man after 25 is not going to change. So if he does X, Y, and Z,
23.
Or 23. Like,
Yeah.
You need to fucking leave him. His frontal lobe is fully developed. That's who he is. Like,
I think of like people with like, because we have a story from someone who I don't know if it was this person, but anyway, people can go through addictions and AA and whatever.
And people can evolve. Like, and as somebody who evolved in her late 20s, early 30s, like that whole 23, 25 cutoff is not set in stone.
But there are like habits and personalities and stuff that's not going to change.
Assume they're not going to change. Don't assume they will change.
Assume that it's going to be a struggle forever.
Yes.
That they might be working on and you can help them, but also like, if you want them to work on it and you need to help them with it, don't shame them or don't
Don't badger, don't
blame
pest,
them for not being able to get there on their own.
Exactly.
Because we are all raised by different people who raised us, and our personalities were created because of these other human beings. So we didn't get the same sort of things that you got. Say you're a very OCD clean person, and you have your parents to thank because of that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, some of us, me, didn't get that sort of thing. And I didn't have that instilled into me. And I would love that to have been instilled in me. And I have anxiety about not having that sort of stuff, that I see sort of clutter or certain messy things. And I'm like, oh, this is killing me inside and I need to do it. But then I'll voluntarily work 52 hours a week. And then it's like, yes, but when are you going to find the time to clean and tidy your house, Ashley? When are you going to do it? You could be cleaning at home right now, but instead you're doing other things. Anyway, that's the whole thing. But red flags.
Right? And again, if your gut is telling you no, don't go against your gut. That's actually, so part 2, we're going to be diving into some real horror stories. And one of the horror story commonalities I was finding with the people who reached out to me was, my gut said this, I ignored it. So if your gut tells you no, leave. It's almost as simple as that. If your gut says, and I always so a lot of people think, oh, my gut told me, that's intuition, that's woo woo, blah, blah, blah. Here's the thing. Your gut instinct is actually your subconscious figuring things out that your conscious mind hasn't been able to piece together yet. And because your subconscious can't just tell your conscious mind, oh, it's this, it gives it out in physical sensations, this icky feeling, this, oh, I don't know how I feel about it. So when you get that gut instinct, don't think it is something you can ignore. Don't think it's woo-woo that you shouldn't be paying attention to. It is your subconscious mind that pieced shit together that your conscious mind didn't figure out yet. So listen to your gut and motherfucking run.
And woo-woo.
Woo-woo. Anyway, guys, so I hope you check in. This is a 2-parter. We're going to be talking about some pretty cool stuff in our second episode, episode 27.
Lots of fun listener stories.
Right? We've got some horror stories. We're going to be talking about a little more about non-monogamy. We've got this awesome write-in. So yeah, I hope you pay attention. I hope you stay tuned.
So cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
To adulting.
Oh yeah, and follow us on all the socials and stuff too. Don't forget that.
Cheers to adulting.